One of the most amazing things about Donald Trump's candidacy, if you take a step back, is the fact that he's never run for any elected office, and yet he figured out a way to beat all these governors and senators, all these people with years and years and years of political experience, just about everybody now, except, of course, for Ted Cruz and John Kasich. 17 candidates started out in the race, as Trump doesn't tire of reminding us. So at the same time, the fact that Trump doesn't have political experience, clearly in a year when the electorate is angry at the government, at Washington, at the political system, at the two political parties. Clearly that's been a huge asset. There are ways in which it's also been a disadvantage. He's had to learn the ropes. He's had to learn that some things he says spark a huge reaction. Sometimes that may be by design. Sometimes he may be surprised by that. And certainly Trump has been at a bit of a disadvantage when it comes to fighting in the trenches with these delegate battles in states like Colorado and Wyoming, where they just have a convention that picks the delegates, or that people send delegates to a convention, but most people don't get to vote. And in those instances, the establishment in those states, perhaps some others, don't like Donald Trump. Ted Cruz is making great headway in those smaller states that either have caucuses or conventions. So we got an email from Scott R., Torrington, Connecticut, who says, you guys bash Trump for not knowing the rules and not having a ground game compared to Cruz. He's been a politician for a year. What kind of businessman would Cruz be 1 year after 1 year of experience? Come on, guys, be fair. So you're saying that we should grade Donald Trump on a curve. We should say, okay, he's made these mistakes, he's had these missteps, but after all, he's just a rookie. I think to some extent we have pointed that out, but you can't have it both ways. If the great appeal of Donald Trump is the fact that he's not part of the political establishment, he says he was when he was a businessman, giving money to both parties and certainly giving money to Democrats in New York City and New York State. If part of his appeal is that he's not part of the political establishment, then he has to take the minuses with the pluses, which is this is a very tough game, very challenging, long game to run for president. He's still ahead by a lot. He's got about 8 million votes compared to 6 million for Ted Cruz. All these other great supposed candidates like Jeb Bush and Scott Walker and Mike Huckabee and Chris Christie and Carly Fiorina, they've all dropped out. Ben Carson, who's endorsed Trump, by the way. And so it is a double-edged sword. Trump wouldn't be where he was if he had run for the Senate before, if he'd once been a congressman or something like that. At the same time, the fact that he hasn't done these things, I think we have pointed it out, but, running for president is the ultimate contest in being able to hit major league pitching. And the fact that you've only been doing it for a while doesn't get you off the hook. You still got to perform. Now, he's performed very well, but I don't think we have to give him some kind of special golf handicap as if he'd never picked up the clubs. He's aiming for the highest office in the land, and he should be held to the same standard as everybody else who's running for president.